You're listening to From Imposter to Empowered. I'm your host, Jillian Perrick, master's graduate and success coach for entrepreneurial women. I help you overcome imposter syndrome and fear of rejection so you can be your best self, both in life and in business. Follow me on Instagram at Northern Resolutions. Let's get started. Hey everybody, how's it going? So I was up at 5 a.m. today because I was doing a sales call and it actually turned out really great. She signed right away, which is so exciting. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're totally missing out on Unsure to Untamed, which is my group coaching program in which I help you overcome that inner imposter so you can sell confidently, pitch your offers in DM or on live video, talk more about your offers, really get that strategy down in terms of being more consistent with your social media content and feeling confident in your business. Business mindset is one of the biggest parts of being an entrepreneur, and when you are not in the right mindset and you can't keep yourself motivated and you feel like you're spinning your wheels because you don't know if your content's working, you don't think anybody's going to want your services, and these are all symptoms of imposter syndrome. You start to really doubt yourself, and because there's no one around you to say, hey, you're actually doing a great job, even if there are people who are commenting on your stuff and saying, hey, this is great, but they're not buying from you, you might think, what am I doing wrong? So if this sounds like you, if you want a group coaching experience, and honestly, it's for female entrepreneurs, but specifically side hustlers, because it's a very integrative but manageable program in which I record live trainings that you will have access to whenever, so you can watch them whenever, one-to-one messaging access through WhatsApp with me directly with a coach, which I just added in because I know that the integration working with a coach is so important, guest trainings, accountability pods with the other people in the group, handouts, journal prompts, all the fun stuff that you are able to handle while you're working full-time and trying to run a business, because I am a side hustler myself. I totally get it. I was even at work today and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I have so much work to do tonight, and I'm so tired. How am I going to do it? But got myself into a high vibe state, and I worked out today at lunch with a coworker and came home and took my dog for a walk, and I also know that there is a bubble bath and some America's Got Talent at the end of my work day for me today. So still going from 5 a.m. this morning, and when you're in this program, you are going to realize how much you needed that motivation and that integration into your business, in which you're implementing mindset and strategy so you are getting a holistic approach to your business. And if nothing's been working, then Unsure to Untamed is for you. It's 10 weeks group program. If you want more information, I'll put it in the show notes. So today we're going to talk about something that obviously all my teachings, I go really into depth with them when it comes to the actual group coaching program that I'm running in July. Oh, and it starts in July, just so everybody knows. But this one really got to me because it was a strategy it was something that I struggled with so hard until I got into a group coaching program and started working with a coach and other people who were doing the same thing as me. And that's fighting your inner imposter while preparing for a launch. So if you are a coach or a web designer or a copy editor and you're launching any type of program or service, you know the work that it takes to launch something and the excitement that goes around it and all the work that goes into it. But the problem is sometimes when we're dealing with imposter syndrome, preparing for a launch can be a really scary thing. And not so much when you have the beginning idea. I've talked about this before, but when you have the beginning idea, you're really excited about it. Well, just let me know if you can relate. Go to my Instagram and send me a message and be like, oh my God, this was me. But when you have a really great idea, you get so pumped about it and you start thinking about it, how you're going to implement it and everything. But the more you do it, you start thinking, who's going to want this? Who am I targeting? What am I even doing? And you almost talk yourself out of this great idea. So when it comes to launching something, this can happen even when you're talking about it and you're trying to put it out there. You can start to doubt yourself because you start thinking as you're getting deeper and deeper into it, will anybody even want this? And it can manifest in different ways. So some people have opted, so I've had clients who have opted to just stop launching altogether, just stop talking about the program and they never did it. I've 100% done that before. I've had a really great idea for a program, but I didn't go all the way with it because I was so nervous that nobody would want it, and then I would further embarrass myself when the time came for the program to start and nobody would want in. I also was doing launches completely wrong, but that's besides the fact. But essentially I would have this really great idea, kind of half implement it, like create a sales page that didn't really amount to anything, and then be like, okay, and wait for people to come, and then be so upset when nobody did. But I wouldn't even talk about it. So launch strategy is iffy because there's so many different ways that you can do it. For example, for this program, I'm genuinely launching. So I'm launching for a month, talking about my offer almost every day, and having sales calls and doing a lot of mindset work as well. So having a lot of belief that people are going to want this program, doing the dirty work behind the scenes. And now we're going to go into how you can fight like your inner imposter while you're preparing for your launch and while you're launching. So again, you might be in the beginning stages of a program or a service and thinking, okay, I'm going to put this out there. And then you put it out there and maybe you do it once and you don't get good feedback on it. So my first thing about fighting your inner imposter while preparing for a launch or being in the middle of a launch is being consistent in talking about it. Consistency is one of the most undervalued lessons that I learned. Undervalued lessons that I learned about business is that I would put an offer out there once and never talk about it again. And I would be like, why does nobody want this service? Well, bitch, no one knows that that's your offer. Like, you're putting it out there once, expecting the world to see it, and then being upset when no one direct messages you and says, hey, about that offer that you put out 3 weeks ago, I'm interested. That's just unrealistic. People forget about what they see within seconds. And I think there was research done on this, but on average, people have to see something 7 times before they start to think about it, that it can be a part of their life. So think about advertisements. Think about a coach that you've maybe been looking into, or a product that you've maybe been looking into. And imagine yourself constantly going to that website. Let's say I wanted a shirt. I really wanted it, but it was kind of expensive. But I would keep going to the page being like, oh my God, it's so pretty. Oh my God, it's so pretty. Oh my God, it's so pretty. And I would have to do that a couple times before I bit the bullet and bought the shirt. So people need to see something over and over again, and being consistent in talking about it and being consistent in your ideas. So even when you start to feel like, oh my God, who will want this? Flip the script and say, who wouldn't want this? What solution does this solve for my ideal client? And the next thing would be not letting discouragement sabotage you. So not letting a feeling, like I was just saying before, not letting a feeling like who will want this derail your whole idea, because that's what imposter syndrome does, is it derails your whole thought process to the end where you don't even do what you were planning on doing. And that's problematic because that means we're leaving money on the table. I cannot tell you how many programs that I failed at launching because I didn't do them right, and then I just had the shittiest mindset about it, so I didn't do it. And who knows, somebody probably would have wanted that program, and I missed out because I just couldn't stay consistent with my mindset. So don't let the lack of encouragement for yourself discourage you and sabotage your great idea. Like I said, flip the script and say, why would somebody want this service? So here's a list of ways. If you're not clear on the solution that you're solving for your client, you obviously need to look into that. But if you have a great idea, run with it. Meditate on it, go exercise, go in a float tank, whatever, and think about, okay, how can I turn this idea into something great? And start to conceptualize it. So how will that look like in a program? What can I do? Because we all have great ideas, but if you can't put them into action, then it's just a great idea. So don't let that lack of encouragement for yourself and that inner imposter sabotage your idea. Keep going with it and stay consistent in talking about it, and staying on top of it. And that leads me to the next thing, is to do the dirty work. So contracts, content, you go first, not your potential clients. Do not wait until you have somebody who says, okay, I want in the program to make up a contract. Do all the things behind the scenes that you would do if you were launching that service or launching that product or launching that program. Do everything, because chances are you will have more skin in the game and you'll be like, okay, this is happening. I'm doing it. I believe in myself. It's happening. You may feel that little bit of fear, but if you are putting all the gears into motion, you're going to be more apt to talk about it. You're going to stay on top of stuff like that. And you're going to fulfill whatever you're planning on fulfilling. But if you're, like, let's say you're doing the group program like me, if you're not doing the contracts, I have been writing scripts for a couple of weeks for the live trainings. I've been working on journal prompts for my people who are in the program. I've been doing all the work behind the scenes that it will take for when the group starts on July 1st. So you have to make sure that you are going first. You are doing all the things first before you have that client in your life. Before you have that client that says yes, you have to say yes to yourself. And my last point that I was going to say was commit to it for a certain time length. So my coach had us make 90-day goals. And at first I was like, 90 days, that's not that long, but that's 3 months. And 90 days, I can't think of the last time I stuck with an idea for my business for 3 months. And that's the truth. Like, before I started her program and I had to stay consistent with my launch for this program, I literally wouldn't stay consistent with something for 3 months. I changed my niche so many times. I would have an idea for a program and I would be so excited for it for like 2 weeks and I would forget about it in week 3. And that was just my lack of belief in myself, lack of motivation, feeling like nobody would want my services, feeling like I wasn't enough and people didn't see me as an expert. So who was I? And I just let that fear and like lack of confidence really affect me and sabotage me. So committing to it for a certain time length, like let's say you're going to launch a group program, if you're a coach, and you start talking about it in July and thinking about it and putting the gears into motion, you're going to launch in August and September, and your group's going to start in October. So staying consistent and really seeing it through, committing even when times are difficult and you feel like, oh my God, who's going to want this? This is going to be a flop. Even if you're into week 3 of your launch and you're like, oh my God, nobody's signed up yet. Continue. Keep going. You can always modify. You can always, like, let's say you had a group program and only one person signed up, change it to 1-to-1 and they get that 1-to-1 access. And I gotta get some water. Damn, my mouth is getting dry from all this passion. But yeah, like, stay consistent with your messaging and you can always modify at the end. You can always modify, but commit to your idea, commit to what you want to do, and you will come to that bridge when it happens. A lot of us, especially women, we like to plan for the future. We like to try and figure out if we can navigate all the possible things that could happen. And I'm not going to lie to you. When I started this idea for Unsure to Untamed, I was like, okay, and what am I going to do if nobody wants in? What am I going to do if only one person wants in? And guess what? That didn't happen. I have multiple people who are in the program right now. But the anxiety and the fear that instilled in me almost stopped me in my tracks from even doing it, because I was working from a place of, okay, what if this bad thing happens? What if the worst case scenario happens? And then I was working from that place. So I hope this was helpful. I don't know if you're in the middle of a launch or if you're thinking of launching something, but I would say fuck yes, do it and try these tips. So consistency, not letting discouraging thoughts sabotage your idea, doing the dirty work, so the contracts, the content, working on everything behind the scenes that you will need for that product or that service or that program, and really committing to your idea and to your purpose. Connect to your why. Why are you doing this? It's okay if it's to make an extra buck. That's totally fine. That's the reason why people start a side business in the first place. It's bullshit if people say, I just really want to help people. Of course you do. Of course you want to help people, but you also want to make money. So it's okay if your why is connected to a financial reason. So connect back to your why. Why do you want to do this program? To make this money? Why do you want to pay off your school debt? That will really motivate you always when you talk about your why. And that's all I got for you today. My mouth is very dry because that was a lot of talking in 14 minutes. But anyways, I hope you guys really loved this episode, and don't forget, Unsure to Untamed enrollment is open. June 30th it closes because the course starts on July 1st. And I've already got amazing women inside who are ready to up-level their business and their mindset, to stay consistent and to really start believing in themselves and ditch that inner imposter that's holding them back from showing up on live video and making the content that they know their ideal client needs. And I know that you might be struggling with that as well. So link in show notes for that, for the discovery call, which is totally free, so we can talk more about the program and if it's a fit for you. If you're uncomfortable with doing a discovery call, you can catch me on Instagram at Northern Resolutions and send me a DM and we can chat. So I hope you guys have a great day. Talk to you later. Thanks for listening to From Imposter to Empowered with me, Jillian Perrick, master's graduate and success coach for entrepreneurial women who want to overcome imposter syndrome and fear of rejection. You can find me on Instagram at Northern Resolutions, or info on my services and client reviews at my website, northernresolutions.com. See you next time.